Okay, how's my... There we go. It looks like it's doing good. Yeah. Alright, let us go ahead and get this show on the road once I figured out that I get notifications on my watch and it's just like, oh, I got no. Oh, right, it's the thing saying that, hey, I'm starting now. So, regardless, let's actually start. So, hello and welcome to a Saturday edition of Retro Rank Rhapsody. Today, we are taking a look, kind of continuing our 8-bit theme for this month. And we are taking a look at SEGA yet again. I kind of didn't really mean to do this be a SEGA-focused month, but it kind of ended up being one. Today, we are taking a look at games that SEGA made. SEGA was a little bit of an interesting case in regards to the console makers, because not only was SEGA really very heavily involved in the console business, you know, with the whole SG-1000 and Master System, like even going back that far, they were also very big in the arcade space as well. So today, what I'm taking a look at is a handful of SEGA games that were available both in the arcade and in the console, with some exceptions that I'll make note of. Like this first game we're going to take a look at, because this is kind of an interesting thing, because Pitfall 2 is a very uniquely, well, I don't want to say uniquely, but it is very much a product of not SEGA. Namely, it was Activision, actually. You know, Monolith Activision at one point. One of the first developers to actually properly credit their developers, and, you know, turned into the hellscape that it is now. Made a game called Pitfall 2. In particular, David Crane made Pitfall in Pitfall 2, and that inevitably got ported by SEGA. So we're going to start taking a look at that, because we also haven't taken a look at Pitfall 2, because it's a very interesting game, at least in terms of like game design and like what was available at the time, because this is an Atari 2600 game. You couldn't really do a whole lot on the Atari 2600 that wasn't like, you know, relatively simple, like, you know, standard arcade stuff. And here comes David Crane trying to make more of an adventure. Well, not adventure, that was someone else. But to make a larger scale game on the 2600. And it looks a little bit like this, I think. Okay, for some reason it froze real quick. And I don't know why. Anyway, yeah, so Pitfall 2. In particular, Pitfall 2 Lost Caverns. You know, it is a sequel to Pitfall. Plays a little bit like Pitfall, although instead of just one continuous strip, Pitfall 2 takes place in a large cavern. So this is probably one of the first big exploration games. Yeah, let's before we take a look at the arcade port that SEGA put out, let's go ahead and take a look at this. Also, I'm getting conflicting information about whether this came out in 83 or 84. Either of those cases is particularly late for an Atari 2600. This would be right around the time of in fact, this would be post Atari 2600 crash. Or the American console crash. So this is interesting that came out for this. It did come out for a lot of computer platforms. There was a port by SEGA for the SG-1000 that is mostly based on the arcade game, but yeah. Anyway, I think that's enough babbling. Let's go and start. Also, that is very loud. Also, it is very crunchy. I don't know what to do to cause that, but yeah. Also, one of the first games to have like a little music ditty with it. Also, excuse me, right, you can't crouch. So, another interesting thing about this is that you don't have lives. You have unlimited lives. However, whenever you die, you get reset. Let's go down here. So I believe the plot of this game is that you are trying to rescue 3 people. I guess let's not go there. I don't know. I'm not actually super familiar with this game because going into this relatively blind. Also, give me 1 second. I forgot I need to rebind some stuff. And then here. Oop. Oop. Also, these little plus signs, these are checkpoints. Oops. Okay, how do I... Okay, I just go down the ladder like that. Okay. Oop. Oop. Nope, I want that bar of gold. That's why the collecting gold just resets the song. I was trying to imagine playing this with joystick. Probably did not feel great. Let's not go down there. Right. I keep on thinking that there's going to be a crouch, but there is not a crouch. Shit. Damn it. Damn it. So yeah, this is... like, it's a much larger area. Yeah, kinda. I feel like avoiding this blob is a little bit more of an asshole than this game is. Because really, if anything, this game is just kind of old. Damn it. Oop. Nope. Gotta wait for the... There we go. Gotta wait for the bats to be at the top of their arc in order to walk underneath them. If I could at least get the quick claw. I imagine this game can't be that big. I actually didn't look to see how long a long play this is. Yeah, this seems to... This really isn't... There really aren't puzzles in this. Oh, let's go over there. It's not like that Indiana Jones game for the Atari 2600, which I probably should take a look at some point. So I think that game you can beat in like 15 minutes. Is this just rapping? You know, I never actually sat down and, like, well, I kind of mentioned that. I never really sat down and played this in, like, its entirety. So is it just this long shaft? Oh, damn it. Going down the ladders is a little finicky. Oops. Oh, hey, it's a scorpion. Oh, checkpoint. Oh, well. Oop. There we go. Nope. Whoop! That is going through the ground. Nope. Can you jump? No, okay, you can't jump on the ladders. This is not a Mega Man game. God damn it. Okay, let's see. I think... Nope. I mean, for an... Oh, actually, can I... Alright, they didn't lead anywhere there. God, I gotta go up quite a bit, it seems, in order to go anywhere of note. Nope, that... I do see that some of the sidewalls are, like, textured and some aren't, but I don't... Somehow I have a feeling that that is just how some are. Nope. Jump. Okay, no, I cannot jump over. Okay, yeah, I definitely need to just get back down and then wait for the frog to be on the other side. But that just... I can't, like, walk through that, can I? Yeah, this isn't Hero where I can... Where the hell am I supposed to... Like, and there's nothing on the right, is there? Okay. Yeah, this just kind of seems... not great. Oh, that, yeah. Oh, yeah, I can go over here, and then I can go here. Oh, jump over the scorpion. Swim over here. Get this gold. Let's see, can I progress upwards? Yeah, this is kind of what happens every time I play this game, where it's just like, I'll kind of progress, but then it's like I don't know where to go. Like, it looks like I could go somewhere, but I can't. Hmm. Yeah, 'cause that goes down here. Hmm. Hitboxes are a little weird in this game. Yeah, I just do not know where I need to go. Because, yeah, you go over here, and then... there's nothing over there. And I can't go over there. Alright. Anyway, I think we kind of get a gist of this because I'm pretty sure this is the entirety of the game. Like, I don't think there's any extra stuff. It is just a, hey, we're in a massive cave. And it's, like, there's a lot to explore, but also, it's Pitfall. So. I don't think the game's too bad. Like, it's very, like, for its time, it's, like, super, innovative. We have the original Pitfall at 9, because it's an incredibly standard platformer that actually... Also, I should make that just platformer. Like, the fact that it's kind of samey in terms of, like, map design, I think kind of puts it down. But other than that, like, it's pretty alright for what it is. Kind of looking at 14, you got stuff like Mickey Mousecapade and Karnov and like that. I think 14's pretty good for that. It tries, but it just kind of, especially just now compared to like now modern stuff, it just kind of is a little meh. So yeah, there is that. That is Pitfall 2 for the Atari 2600. So now that we got that out of the way, it is time for actually us to, you know, start the thing that this episode's actually about, which is SEGA arcade ports, which SEGA, I don't know what SEGA was thinking, or like what, I should phrase it as, I don't know how SEGA decided. I was like, oh, you know what, let's make this an arcade game, because I know for the SG-1000, they were porting a lot of computer games that were, stuff that were like, came from Western studios for the SG-1000. Pitfall 2 being one of them, Rock and Bolt, Droll, I'm trying to think of a few others, but they were kind of looking at, you know, Western PC games and like, oh, what can we do with this? And I guess when they got the Pitfall 2, Choplifter being another big one there, but I guess they also got Pitfall 2 and decided, you know what, let's make this an arcade game. Which, interesting, but yeah. So, let us take a look at Pitfall 2, The Lost Caverns, for the arcade. Let's see, are you visible? Yes, you are. So, Pitfall 2, Lost Pitfall 2 is Lost Caverns based on... Yeah. Anyway, so... as you can tell, because it's an arcade game, it is a lot more colorful. And it's, it looks like a Pitfall, but a lot more, shiny. So, let us go ahead and start. And yeah, the arcade game kind of turns it's not the same map, but it makes it a lot more, like, arcadey. Also, I don't know if these kill you outright or if or if they just suck time or something. So, you want to collect treasure in this because that increases your timer. Also, it looks like it's a little bit too quiet. There we go. Oop. 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 Oh, so these are a little bit trickier. There we go. Like, it's really trying to do the Tarzan thing from the original game, but it really... it's not doing a great job. And then sometimes things spawn on the side that you can't really do much about. Oh! There we go. Does that actually do anything, or is it just... yeah, I think falling like that takes some time off. Is there a way to get deeper? Oh. Yeah, you go over this side. Oop. There we go. Yep, that's still... I guess for this first stage, they kind of just want to recreate, like, the first game. Like, Pitfall 1. Let's... oh, nope. Okay, can you do the thing where you still stand on their heads when they go up, or is it just straight up death? It's straight up death, okay. Okay. Is there anything worth it? Yeah, there was just some more time. Oop. Okay, when am I actually gonna get into the cavern? Let's see. Okay, I just gotta duck in and dive. I don't know why I think I can duck. I cannot duck. Never could duck. Or can you duck in the... whoop. Can you duck in the original game? So I could have sworn in some Pitfall you could duck. Okay, I guess not. Oop. Oh, thank you, Arcade Castle, for the follow. Oops. How long is this first little area? So the original game was one big area, but this arcade port, they kind of make it individual levels. Oh, good. Oh, this feels weird. Because they're little tiny cups. Okay, this looks like... There we go. Ah. Now we're into it. Oh, good. Yeah, the keys to level transit, it's kind of like, reminds me of a Spelunker. Also, this area is very tricky. Yeah, so the way that this ice physics works is that it looks like there's like 4 spots under, like it's tile-based movement, it feels like. Or like is the next best comparison. Whoops. Oop. I don't know how that worked. Let's see, how high can I go? Oops. Oh, can I... Am I... Oh, there we go. There is no point for me to do that. Oh. Oh. Yep, this is Pitfall 2 for the arcade. I believe that the SG-1000 port of Pitfall 2 is basically this arcade game, but without the timer and no ability to continue. Come on, there we go. Yeah, it just could. The ladder controls are weird. If I want that, because I want time. Also, I have no idea what. Okay. Oh, hey, it's it's that thing from Alex Kidd. Well, apparently I needed to go up here. Oops. Okay. You know what? Oh, yeah, can't stand underneath it, because I don't have enough clearance. Go figure that the most dangerous thing in the Pitfall universe apparently are frogs. I just appreciate that it just stopped making sound at some point. Oop. Oop. Okay, is there... Okay, and I don't have... How about I don't have to collect every single one of these ice things? Yeah, this is just... feels weird. Oh. God damn it. I think the keys are the only necessary things we need to get. Yeah, because I don't think I went down the entirety of this cavern. Damn it. Damn it. Nope. Oh, damn it. Yeah, I just don't... I hope it's not collect every single one of these. Oh. Oh. Let's see, how many more? Okay, there are some down there. Damn it. Okay, well... Oh. Oh, shit. Okay. Wait, what? Oh, I'd walked enough. That's right, because you walk as you get points as you walk. Yeah, Coyote Time definitely was not, like, I'm sure there are games that had it in there, but it's like, that definitely was not anywhere near a, like, universal concept. Okay. Can I make it over there? Oh. So it is just collect the keys. I was like the remixes on the theme. Okay. So you can't time it. Oh. No, I don't want... I take it as bad. Yes. Okay. Okay. Can I... Okay, can I go from... Okay, can I time this right? Nope. Does not look like it. Oop. Yeah, pretty much. Oop. Not cool. Like, Super Pitfall's, like, theme is a little bit differently. Or actually, maybe it is. I hope not. That game sucks. Really badly. Oh, I think... Oop. Okay, that just lines up. You know, I think I've seen enough of this game. I'm curious, does the arcade version have continues? Also, fun thing is that apparently this song appears in the ranking screen of it is one of the possible ranking musics that show up in Fantasy Zone 2DX. Okay, yes. Okay, some old arcade games did this where you had to, in order to continue, you had to press start, but also doing that. Like, you had to hold jump while hitting start. Arkanoid is another one that was like that. But, yeah. Well, anyway, let us move on and rank. So, Pitfall 2, The Lost Caverns. Or, actually, technically, there's no the there. It's kind of not great. Oh yeah, I suppose. At that point, you could just let the timer run out. Like, I feel like I'd rather play that version than... I feel like I'd rather play that version than the 2600 version, but not by much. I'm kind of thinking 13 for that one. It's at the same level as Rayman. Oh, actually, you know what? I see Jill the Jungle there. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of things that I think are... Yeah. I think that is pretty good. Yeah. It's less bullshit, the 2600 version, but also it is much easier to get lost in the 2600 version. So, there is that. Regardless, let us move on to our next game. So this one, I was kind of thinking of saving this one for our co-op episode because the literal name of the game is co-op. Well, it's not literally co-op, but it might as well be because we're taking a look at Quartet, which is called Quartet because it is a game you can play with 4 people. Although, whether or not you'd want to play with 4 people is up to you and your friends, but we'll see. Basically, the gist of this game and why this came to be is SEGA wanted to make Gauntlet. This came out in '86, so the year after Gauntlet. Kind of similar principles, although not same gameplay style. It is definitely... You can tell that that's what they were going for, though. Alright. Let's see, you playing nice? There we go. Okay. So. 3, 2, 1. So. 1986 SEGA. That is a lot of scores. And this is, in fact, Quartet. So this is one of those games that, depending upon what coin door or what side of the cabinet you put your coins in, it requires you to play as certain people. So we are going to be playing as the leftmost character, who is probably the character that I'd play as. And yeah, basically, here is the gist of the game.
Only a key opens the door.
There we go.
Open the door.
So yes, those are our 4 people. And yeah, so you can see we have... So yeah, this is a side-scroller. It's basically side-scrolling Gauntlet. And, yeah. Let's go ahead and put some credits in. Also, as you put in more credits, you get more health. So that's even more gauntlet-ish. And yeah, we are going to be blue, which means we're going to be Lee, and sport a very decent mustache. So let's start. It didn't. This is the arcade version. We'll see the Master System version shortly.
Only a key opens the door. Open the door.
Okay. Let's see. So we have a jump and shoot. Also, music in this game is phenomenal. I really like this. Really like this song, but also the music in general in this game is really good. Oops. Also, whenever you get hit, you lose your power-up switch, is not great. Excuse me, your power-up gets out. There we go. Let's get these other things. And there we go. Oops. See, foot controls aren't great. It actually is. It's just decaying at a very slow rate. Oops. So yeah, it's an okay action game. It's just, hey, you can play this with 4 people. Also, I understand when you're going up ladders, it forces you to shoot upwards. Oh, you can crawl on the ground. Okay. That is an interesting crawling animation. It's got the little feet wiggles. This is my hole, apparently. There we go. Damn it. Whoops. Also, I have no clue how many stages there are in this game. Also, it looks like our weapon stays powered up, which is nice. I wonder if I gotta shoot it in the same color as I am in order to get the benefit from it. Oh, then seems like it didn't matter. Oh. Also, I'm pretty sure that sound came straight from Fantasy Zone. God damn it. It's really annoying that I don't like your power-ups like fall out of you. Oop. God, soundtrack in this game is so good. Right. Okay, where's the dude? Oh, there it is. Okay, now that I'm at this point, apparently, I guess I just shouldn't get any more power-ups. There we go. That's... Wait. Huh, where's... I don't have the key, so where's the key? Oh good, am I gonna have to carry the key from the one side? Yep, there it is. So I guess I have to carry the key from one side to the other. Oh good, now they're shooting. Oops. Something with the sound effects just reminded me of like a Nichibutsu game. Oh, good. Okay, so... I don't know why the gold has ice physics. Spoil the video game. You thought it was Crash Bandicoot. No, that turns out it's this. Kind of more like a wah-hey than a... There we go. Than an agile whoa. Damn it. You know, I'm just taking the top route. Okay. At least it got knocked forward. All right. I'm guessing this little hallway, it's just... Yeah, this really is just side-scrolling gauntlet. Okay, I just wanted to make sure if I can add additional credits. Yeah, how's our health? Ugh. Yeah, it decreases very slowly, but it does decrease. Okay, where's the key for this one? I don't think I saw anything with a... I really don't like how things just spawn in on top of you that you can't do anything about. Oh, so is this thing that had... Oh, I see the thing with the key. Okay, I can't, like... Oh. Oh. Oh, that's not great. Your HP system is basically you... It seems like you take a hit and it's like... You lose 100 damage. It'll also drain 10 damage every, it seems like, 10 seconds. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, oh, yeah.
Was not expecting SEGA rap.
Come on. Oh.
Yeah,
Come on. Oh.
Oh, this is not great.
Come on. Again. Work. Oh. Come on. Again. Work. Go, 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 go.
Oh. Yeah, I love bosses that have, like... that teleport and, like, are on stage for, like, a half a second. Okay, also, I am making sure that I beat the stage, because I don't know if this is the last stage, but...
Come on.
There we go.
Come on. Again. Work. Oh. Come on. Come on.
Let's see. Nope.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, oh, oh. Come on.
Yeah, this slime enemy, or whatever the hell it is not good.
Come on. Oh. Come on. Again. Oh, oh, yeah. Come on. Again. Work. Go, 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 go.
All right.
SEGA. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Quartet. Come on. Oh.
This is... More games need to have songs like those.
Come on tonight. Oh, yeah. Come on. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Come on. Excited. Work. Go. Excited.
God, this is just annoying as hell.
Quartet. SEGA. Excited. Oh, yeah. Come on. Game, work. Oh, yeah. Come on. Excited. Game, work. Go.
Oh. Okay. I guess you wait take too long. Death just shows up. Okay, then it's just... Okay, you know what? I think I'm good. I'm seeing Quartet for the arcade. Where do we put Gauntlet? Put Gauntlet 4 at... Gauntlet 4 at 13. Would you rather play Gauntlet 4 than that? It just kind of, like, it's a neat concept that it's like, oh, you can play this game with 4 people, but it has the problem Gauntlet does, where it's just, oh, let's just be an asshole. So. Yeah. I'm kind of thinking 14 on that. Like, it's not the worst, but also you can do much better. Also, I completely forgot to do charms for the last few games. I didn't really think Pitfall 2, like, either of these really had much. I really like the music for Quartet. Dave for Quartet is pulls cheap bullshit. And yeah. I think that is good for Quartet for the arcade. So, Quartet being, I guess that game had its following, or the fact that just Sega just wanted to put whatever it had for whatever platforms. So they ported it to the Master System. Problem with porting it to the Master System is that there is no multi-tap for the Master System. So you can only play with 2 people. I believe in Europe, when this game came out in Europe, it was released as Double Target. So it's like, you know, that makes sense because you can only have 2 people. So having a name be Quartet is kind of silly. However, when, I guess, in Japan and in the US... Okay, come on. Come on. Too many voice clips. I don't think I do, but anyway, let us take a look at Quartet for the Master System, which came out over here as Quartet. Obviously, so basically, Mary and Edgar are the only two playable characters. And if you're playing as player 1, you have to play as Mary. So, let's go and start. Oh, they reverse controls. Also, health drains at a much faster clip in this one. Oh wow, did it drop 1,000? Holy crap. So is that instant death? Oh, and I see you have lives in this one. Oops. Still drop your stuff on hit. And yeah, naturally, because... I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, music took a downgrade, but... Wow, that's a lot of bullets. Oops. God, how many... There we go. There we go. The same like compositions as the arcade game, but just I mean, obviously it's not gonna have arcade hardware, so just doesn't quite sound as good. Still sounds pretty good, but just doesn't sound quite as... Oh, is there... Can I jump up here and... Okay, I guess not. Got to go. Nope, don't go left. Okay, that had to be something with that little... It looked like a door. Oh. I guess I just didn't hit it at the right spot or something. Alright. So different bosses, it looks like. Oh, this is... Oh, it does like 3,000 damage per hit. God, it's almost like the arcade version was like weirdly more fair. Okay, there we go. I really wish that you could hit them while they're still in smoke form. There we go. I don't know what stars do. God damn it. So why do these lips have like so much damage? I don't know what happens when you fall into a pit of the key. God, things just have too much health in this game, also. Or I don't know if I'm actually doing damage or something. Oh. There we go. I feel so slippery in this. God. Okay, there we go. Good, because making this a teleporter maze definitely is what this game needed. Is that a power-up? No, it's not a power-up. Okay, there's the exit. The bosses in this game are terrible. Why would you put a boss like this in with things that, like, these little blocks just have way too much, of a hitbox? I hope that whenever I go off screen that it's not regenerating. There we go. How I... There we go. Okay, I think I am good on Quartet for the Master System. It is just kind of frustrating, actually. God, I'd almost put that at the same... I'm putting that at the same level as the arcade version, because it's like... Yeah, you made it, like, better for single player, but also you made it really frustrating. Alright. So I will also say that the music's still good. Yeah. That's about enough from Quartet. So, I thought, I was thinking, I'm like, oh yeah, I'd done all the, oops. I had done all the Alex Kidd games. Except there was one Alex Kidd game that I had not done yet. Because it's the weird one, well, you know, I shouldn't say it's the weird one out, because that franchise is entirely nothing but weird ones out. So, let us take a look at Alex Kidd, The Lost Stars. Originally for the arcade. And the only Alex Kidd game, I think, for the arcade. So, oh, did I adjust this? I did not. Yes, so. This is 1986. Also, Alex Kidd with Stella, The Lost Stars. Because I guess Alex Kidd has a sister named Stella. So. There is that. Also, yes, some people who follow a certain Earth sign streamer might be familiar with this game in a side manner.
The customer is king.
Also, what I don't...
The customer is king.
I don't know why that is the credit noise for this game.
The customer is king.
The customer is king. I don't know why.
The customer is king.
Okay, let's go ahead and start.
Find the miracle ball.
Yeah, so let's find the miracle ball. Okay, so you don't have any attack, you just can jump. Also, when you die... he makes a noise. Oh, now I can shoot. Okay. Scream. Oh, I lost it. I can't shoot. Been waiting for this day so I can do that. Jump! So yeah, this really doesn't like follow, it doesn't follow like Miracle World, it doesn't follow even Enchanted Castle. Well, Enchanted Castle wouldn't. This would have been like, I think actually Miracle World would have been the only thing that would have been out. Shot 2. Oops. That is a very cute touch. Also, apparently, Alex needs to find a looser fitting thing, because that is riding up something fierce. I don't know what we're attacking with. Whoops. 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 So yeah, it's competent. That's all I'd really say about it. I mean, if you think about the fact that, like, Mario 1 might not have even been out for a year at this point. Actually, now that I think about it, I think this actually is the first Alex Kidd game. Hey, I found a miracle ball.
Find the miracle ball.
Oh, hey, it's an Opopa. I mean, it's more Alex Kidd than, say, High Tech World. Which, by the way, because I have the most cursed goddamn timing in the history of the planet and when it comes to my streams, apparently, last Friday, the last SEGA arcades no longer exist in Japan. They have all been, SEGA has, basically, given rights to, like, their arcades to another company. So now is apparently the perfect time to talk about SEGA arcade games. Okay, can I see the edge out here? Okay. Oh, this is really jarring. Yeah. That was at least neat. Ow. Can I? Why can't Alex crawl? Ow. Also just show off that, yeah, when you respawn, you just respawn right where you were, which is nice. Oh, don't worry, Tyrion, we're playing another version of this game after this. Actually, probably after this level. Ow. Good, that is a perfect place to put a speed up. Oh god. Oh. Oh. Thanks, Opa Opa.
Find the miracle ball.
Okay. Alright. I think that's enough of Alex Kidd and Lost Stars, because I think we've kind of seen what that game has going for it. Actually, you know what? What I probably should be doing is waiting until I finish the other version before... I don't think the Zodiac sign... I don't think we're collecting Zodiac signs. I think the levels are just based off the Zodiac signs. So... that was the arcade version of Alex Kidd and the Lost Stars, so why don't we take a look at the Master System version of Alex Kidd and the Lost Stars? Damn it. So... yeah, for some reason, I guess they took, like, 2 years to port this, because this is an 88 release. Also late enough that it has FM synthesis. So let's start. So yeah, it's like, oh, the Master System didn't use a lot of voice samples. I wonder how the voice sampling works on the Master System. Like that. Also, man, you have some weird running acceleration in this game. Yeah, there is no Stella in this one. Oops. At least it's colorful. But yeah, this is a pretty straightforward port for Master System. It's not like Quartet, where they had to change a lot of stuff. No, this post-dated it by quite a bit at this point. This release came out in '88, so you're same year as Super Mario Bros. 3. I don't think it's playing the... oh. Also, you can only shoot forward. That's weird. No, neither version does, because Mario Brothers was, or like Super Mario Brothers was 1985.
Find the miracle ball.
All right. Also, I like that it gives you a timer for how much time you have left with the shot. Also, something about this background really makes it hard to tell what is like an actual platform. Wait, what? I don't know if you've been listening, but it definitely has the scream. Unless it's just been really quiet. And there's the Opopo.
Find the miracle ball.
Alright, so I think that's good for Alex Kidd and the Lost Stars. If we've kind of getting the gist of it. The Master System port is pretty close to the arcade port. So, there's that. Let's see. Like, that game isn't bad, it's just incredibly average. Got Teddy Boy Blues at 10. Which is a game I also think is kind of roughly average. Pepsi Man. Toki. Yeah, I kind of feel 10's a good spot for that. Actually, both of them, because I think they're pretty close to each other. Also, Nay. Scream. Other than that, I think they're incredibly average. Well, slightly above average, but yeah, nothing spectacular. Anyway, let's see. That's going to do it for Alex Kidd and the Lost Stars. All right. So before I move on to the next game, let me go ahead and just do this so don't forget. There we go. All right. I will be right back. All right. So our next game is one I barely ever heard of this before. I was looking at some match hosting games. I'm like, oh, what is this? And what this is essentially SEGA wanted to. It was like, oh, Spy Hunter's a fun game, but also so is Xevious. So why don't we just make Spy Hunter Xevious? And when they do that, you get Action Fighter. And this was originally an arcade game, so let's take a look at it. Once it decides to play nice with OBS. Okay, here we go. So. This is Action Fighter, also from 1986. And so, let me actually do this. Let me get the volume in the right spot. Let us go and start. So now we're on a motorcycle. Also, we are very squirrely. And also, we die very easily. Also, now we have the surface air missile. Oop. Oop. And now, we are in a helicopter. Oop. Oop. So yeah, this is basically a multimodal shmup. Oop. Oh, and yeah, I guess we also have fuel gauge. And now we're on the motorcycle again. Yeah, my main problem with this game is that just things kind of just come at you a little bit too quickly. Wait. Bike or car? Oh, now we're actually Spy Hunter. Oop. Okay, so I can't... Oh, now we're at IndyCar. Oh, now I can jump. Oh, good. We are bumping and jumping now. Except I can't. I don't think we bump. We just jump. Oop. So yeah, this game's entire gimmick is that there's just a lot of different vehicles you can be in and basically go a little bit too fast. Oop. Up and now with a motorcycle again. I don't think there's also, like... I feel like it would have been enough if it was, like, you could just, like, controlling all of these. But I think the fact that there's just too much going on. Yeah, I think if you go a certain route, you will get the map. Oops. Let's change the bike. Let's see, I think we're just about the end. Oop. Oh, is the helicopter like a bonus thing? Oh, hey, it's an Alex Kidd. Yeah, it's just all like you just die like really all of a sudden, and some of these bolts are kind of hard to see. That's just probably because of how I had to play this. Okay, and I think I'm on a different path now. Okay, so... Okay, it's converged. Oh, and this is like super wide, so... Okay, so I think depending upon how I get out of this area... Or maybe this is just an infinite game. Anyway, I think we've seen enough of this game. Like, it's an interesting idea, but also not that great. Let's see. Like, I see Trick Trap 1771, Steel Empire, Roblox. I feel like those games are better than that. And that 13, I see like Battle K Road, Berserk, Assault, Mercenary Force. I think that's a 13. Like, it's neat, but also not that great. Also, I'm thinking we're starting to see why a lot of these games didn't get a whole lot of notoriety. So, yeah. Anyway. I can't really think of any charms for that, so I think I'm just going to move on to our next game, which is also Action Fighter, but for the Master System. Now, the thing with the Action Fighter is that, that game was, like, way too... Like, I don't think you could get a game with that speed on really anything 8-bit. So they had to change the game a little bit. And now let's see what they did. Now this one was actually closer to launch, because this came out the same year. And I think this was pretty close to launch. So, anyway, let us go ahead and start. Also, we can put our name. Alright, let's see, how does this go? Secret command. Sync. So we're starting the bike. Okay, can I climb? Do you climb that? Yeah, okay. So you straight up spy hunter that in this one. Also, you can bump in this one. Oop. Oh, now I'm the car. And now we're a jet car. And this becomes a lot more Zevious. Oops. Why was that car going towards like a bridge that had no end to it? Oh no. I've become too fast. Oops. Oops. Yep, I'm pretty sure I'm going way too fast at this point. Also, I see like I have a timer in the bottom right. It's like... I don't know what that means. Oh, for the Easter egg? Oh, okay. Oh, it's... okay, it's Spy Hunter. Okay. So now I have legitimate, like, straight-on bosses. Alright. I take it I get back on the bike at some point. Ow. Okay, what happens if I... Okay, I just get... oh, back here. Okay. Okay, things aren't dying in one shot anymore. God, some... these shots are a little bit, like, come out way too close. And, like, some shots are, like, really slow. Okay, this looks like I'll probably get back in the thing. Oh, come on. These missiles look a little silly. Oh. Huh. I feel like these sections go on a little bit too long. Alright, here we go. Yep, pretty much. Oh, I see. There we go. Alright, let's see. Okay. You know, I think I'm good. I think I've seen enough of Action Fighter. That's a very okay game. Like, I would say that I prefer playing that to the arcade version. Not by much. So I don't think I'm gonna give that a 12. It is just a slightly below average game. So, with that, let us go on to our next game. So, I actually brought this up about 2 or 3 weeks ago when we were taking a look at Famicom ports of SEGA games, and I mentioned that Alien Syndrome had a interesting port to the Master System, which, well, that's what we're doing next. I'm not going to do the arcade version of Alien Syndrome because I just showed it off like a couple weeks ago. But we will take a look at the Master System version. And we will look at it right now. Alien Syndrome. We can play as either Ricky or Mary. And this port came out in 1988. So, come on. So, let's start. Okay, actually, I'm going to turn that up. So yeah, this is a kind of a single screen affair. Yep. Oh, that's a warp. Okay, there's the exit. Do I not get a map? Oh. Yeah, I do not. I want the laser shot. I do not want the normal shot. Yeah, and there not being a map is. Oh god. Oh, that'd be pretty rad. Okay, I only need 3 more. I never actually played the Shadow the Hedgehog game, so well, no, I've seen bits and pieces of it. And I know it's not good, but... Okay, I still need one more. Yep. Hitbox is really weird in this one. All right. The lack of a map in this game is kind of not great. Wait, what? What? I have no idea what was killing me. I don't think they do. Like, these aren't. I'm just getting killed by something out of the blue. Yeah, what the fresh hell? Okay. I have no clue what's killing me in that case. Yeah. Yeah, I have no idea. Also, I have no idea where the exit is in the stage. I'm thinking none of the other versions did that. Okay, there it is. I think this boss is unique to this version. Also, I'm... Yeah, this version is kind of busted. Okay, I think we're good for the Master System version of Alien Syndrome. Like, it would be a fine port if it weren't for the fact that, one, you don't have any maps, and two, it seems to be buggy as shit. So I think I'm going to just do what a lot of things did and just hit 13. With it being notably buggy. Alright. I think that is good for Alien Syndrome. So, you know, it wouldn't be a Sega arcade stream if I didn't take a look at least one one super scalar game. So let us do that by taking a look at Enduro Racer for the arcade. Except I gotta bind some stuff first. All right, so did I get this? Nope. So, Enduro Racer also came out in 1986, like pretty much everything else we've taken a look at today. And it is, in fact, a motorcycle game. One that looks kind of jarring, because this is like the start of the time where they tried to do some shenanigans with the superscalar derivatives. And yeah, this is essentially Excitebike, but behind the back. So let's start. Oop. Pretty much. Well, we will see. Oop. I swear that's like the same exact checkpoint they used in like Outrun. Oop. Oop. I don't know where this is supposed to be. It's not like a super, or hang on, where it tells you where it's roughly supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be a similar I see. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm dead. Or I think I'm done. Oh yeah, you just stop right there. Where are we, Pangea? Oh, whoops. Oh. I guess we're just going right again. I mean, they did virtual or super hang-on, so they definitely could have. I guess this one just wasn't as popular, probably because it pulls a lot of perspective bullshit. That's kind of a kind of uncomfortable to look at.
Checkpoint.
Oops. Yeah, I appreciate just you get a little bump and then your entire bike explodes. And I'm kind of more more down for super hang-on, but that's just me. Alright. Alright, I think we've seen enough of Enduro Racer for the arcade. I think we kind of get the gist. Also, I'm probably not going to get any further. So. Where's Hang On 1? Now we got Super Hang On at 6. Hang On at 9. I feel like I'd almost rather play the original Hang On. So I'm thinking kind of 10 for that one. And again, I can't really think of much else to call up for, because the soundtrack's was alright, but it's not like Magical Sound Shower or like outright a Crisis or anything, so yeah, I think that's good. So let us go ahead and continue with what we're doing. So, Enduro Racer did get ported to other things, but it got ported to the Master System, which, if you are not familiar with, well, doing something like that with the Master System would be quite a feat. So we'll see how they managed to, or how they handled it. By taking a look at specifically the Japanese version, because the US version of this game, or US and Europe version, for some reason they decided to cut the number of courses in half and just repeat them. It's the same amount of levels, they just repeat them. I don't know why they did that, but let us take a look at Enduro Racer for the Master System. Okay, that's there. And there. Now, are you set up there? Yes, you are. Okay. So, let us play Enduro Racer for the Master System. And this came out in 1987. What a start. So yeah, they make it this kind of sort of isometric view. I just barely made it. All right. Oh, and I can tune up. You know what? Let's have a better accelerator. Also, kind of the... it's a little bit of a bummer, is the fact that, if you want to go fast, you have to avoid, you have to avoid, going on the jumps. Okay, you know what? I am going to go and hold on so I can update my engine. Okay. I think I found a trick. All right. Let's boost the engine. Oh, that does damage my stuff. I guess then let's upgrade the tires. Alright. I'm gonna try and upgrade the engine again. Oop. I got hit like 4 times there. It does feel like an Excite Bike course where they're like repeating a few things over and over again. Alright. Tune up that engine. Again. Does a stack. It doesn't seem like it. Okay, in that case, let us figure out what does item do. Oh. Oh, does the engine only work for one race? Oh. Oops. All right. Was he not? Let's see, is that... Oh, that only does 10. Is it random? That is random. Okay, battery. Can. Oh. Alright, well, I think I've seen enough of Enduro Racer. However, there is something about Enduro Racer that I must show off. And that is the ending of the US version. Because it is certainly a thing. So, let's see. Can I do this? Yep, I'm getting a YouTube video loaded up. So let's see. There we go. Oop. So. Thank you, World of Long Plays. So let's kind of also we can kind of see what some of these levels look up. So yeah, it's very very similar kind of thing. Also looks like prices are doubled in the US version. Alright, here we go. So. There's everything. Congratulations, you successfully completed all the stages. Enduro is a symbolic journey through life via the media of race. The results are insignificant, and what really counts is competing. Of particular importance are the lessons to be learned concerning oneself from various encounters you experience along the way. There is no victor or loser in this test of endurance. The only thing that really matters is that you make a commitment to begin the long and trying trek. This game is then dedicated to all of the life riders who have started out on the solitary trip to find their own individual limits. Last but not least, may we sincerely congratulate you on a perfect run. The end. More endings need to be like that. And that's it. Also, if you're wondering where Bear got his ending music from, that is where that comes from. So doofy, but also. Anyway. I think that's good for Enduro Racer. Okay. Oh, let's see. Again, it's like it's all right, but it's kind of a dick too. I know that I've been kind of abusing this number for a little bit, but I kind of feel like 13's a good spot for that game. It's kind of a real dick. And also I'm gonna put for yay. Oh, do I have? I'm gonna put there for student of life for the yay. I think that is good because everything else is just kind of okay about the game. And yeah, and yes, incredibly mediocre game. But we got a lot of stuff in there. I'm gonna say, I was trying to wondering, like, oh, I was wondering if we were close to a milestone in terms of how many things we have in, but it was like we have 159 or 2,159 games. in this list. So, not really close to anything crucial. So, anyway, with that, I think we are done today. So let's talk about what we are doing tomorrow. Thank you all for watching. Personal Twitter is @LoadToPuzzlo. There is a Discord where you can chat with the community, take part in polls, and occasionally I'll put stuff on for Media Delta, which you can watch if you are a member of that Discord. There's a Patreon, $2 and $5 tiers, helps with hosting cost and various other things. If you are watching this on a VOD, you can watch these live Fridays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Saturdays at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time by going to twitch.tv/LoadToPuzzlo. If you want to watch the VODs, the YouTube channel is the best place to do it. You can go to youtube.ldp.life, and that will bring up the YouTube page where episodes are uploaded at a higher quality, and just, I like YouTube's player better. There's also 2 shows that are on the YouTube that you can't find on Twitch that are Media Delta and Hazeltown Story. Those get uploaded Thursdays at 8 a.m. Eastern. And if you want to listen to them on a podcatcher, you can do so by going to radio.ldp.life or looking up WLDP Hazeltown Radio in your podcatcher. Episodes uploaded Thursdays at 8 a.m. Eastern to there as well. So, tomorrow, I just decided to have a day. I've been wanting to do the Mr. more, so I'm just loading up the Mr. and playing some games that I have on this list already that I want to re-look at. And there also happen to be games that I find to be my guilty pleasures. So, with that, let me double check to make sure I am doing what I need to do. By that I mean, let's go to Twitch to see who is streaming. Sure, I will... I'll send you all over to Axe, who is playing Doom. So, go and say hi to them. And I hope you have a good rest of whatever time it is when you are watching. So, later.